appreciate y'all chilling and politicking and paying attention because it's real vital. You heard me? Trench Talk TV. So that's what it's gonna sound like. It ain't gonna sound like nothing sugarcoat. It ain't gonna sound like what you want to hear. It's gonna be Trench Talk.
Yeah, what brought you out of that slump? Because I believe coming out of that's when you began having these things at radio stations, and you began mentoring artists that we know today, I believe, right?
Right, exactly. You're exactly right, good brother. And that was around the time I said, 2008 to 9 or 10. I came home. My father had passed away in 2008, and so and also my daughter, me being and going on that, that left a lot of time where I wasn't with her. I left when she was 6 years old, and so at one time before she was 6, I used to keep her with me all the time. I'd take her where I went, but now it was something that I was going through personally, and so I felt like I had to come back home, for them and start trying to see if I can build upon that. During the meantime, that's when I met Kevin Gates for the first time. I met Kevin Gates in jail. Me and Kevin Gates met in jail, and I remember being in the child hall. We was eating.
What eating? This
is in
about
2010.
2010.
Yeah, this was in 2010, and so I was in the child hall, and my homeboy, rest in peace, my homeboy Al C. Marlon, jumped up in the child hall and said, "Joker P, man, Kevin Gates gonna meet you." I said, "Oh yeah." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Tell him to come outside for rec." The rec, everybody go outside at one time, and so we went outside. We came outside for rec, and I met him, man, and that's when he had the long dreads, came way down here, and he came up to me and he was, bowed to me a little bit and paid homage, man. He said, "Man, Joker P, I always been wanting to meet you, man." He said, "I grew up listening to your music, brother." He said, "But I always wanted to know, how come I didn't hear more music from you? How come, I didn't hear a lot from you?" And I told him, I said, "Man, I appreciate what you're saying, good brother." I said, "But it's not about me, it's about you." I said, "The reason why you haven't heard because of this right here, right where we at. We in jail, and you had the opportunity right now, man, to make it." And I just, let him know that that it was all about him. But at that time, I had already had in my mind when I heard him and been following him, that he was one of them ones that he could have really made a bigger impact and took it real far. And he told me then, he said, "Man, since I've been in here, I found something." He said, "I found something, Joker P." He said, "When I get out," he said, I'm gonna be repping that South," and he said, "and I'm just gonna be on a whole nother level." He said, "I found it." At that time, I didn't know what he was talking about, but I realized what he was talking about when I first heard that satellite, and I heard his cadence and the way that he was rapping. Because if anybody knew anything about Kevin Gates, before he went to jail, he rapped a certain type of way, and then when he got out of jail, it became on a whole different level.
And I think we all could appreciate that transition he made too.
Yes.
Would you say it was that encounter with him that you had that probably inspired you wanting to be more so on the mentorship side of it?
Right, exactly. Because it was somebody that was big at the time, and you could see, his projection. And for him to come to me and be able to be humble and pay homage like that to me, and it started to give me, inspired me to say that, like, as now the 10 years have passed by, now I'm more a legend now. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not that I'm out front trying to be relevant, but hey, I did what I did. At least people understand and know what.
This wasn't something that was self-proclaimed.
Right. And now people tell me, "Hey, man, you a legend, man, this and that." So I started looking at it from more of an OG standpoint, and not the standpoint of me having to be trying to put out something now. You know what I mean? People ask me all the time now. I be thinking about just going and putting me a Nipsey Hussle, make me 1,000 CDs, charge $1,000 a piece for them, and just keep it like that. It's gonna be vintage, or at least $100 or whatever. It's gonna be vintage Joker P. But hey, y'all, just stay tuned for that.
Why not, man?
Why not?
What artists from Baton Rouge? What other artists from Baton Rouge have you had a chance to mentor?
It's been a lot of little artists. Like I said, mostly the Young Bleeds, and the CeeLo, of course, those guys, the Boosies, you know.
I think you might have told me Main Music.
Yeah, Main Music, TEC. I think me and you had talked about that. My homeboy Stroke the Dawn, shout out to him. I usually he usually takes a lot of advice from me. Back when they had Small Circle Cartel, I don't know if you know about them. At one time, I was supposed to be trying to run the label, you know, but due to mishaps, and then shout out to R.I.P. to my boy Harold. But I wanted to be a mentor. Also, I remember Young Bleach take me sometimes to his shows, and he'll have me talk to. He had a Corleone, the Corleone family at the time, and so he had some artists and everything. He used to want me to be able to show him how to, you know, I just show him basic stuff, how to hold a mic, how to have your hand around where it's going to project your voice on that, you know, small stuff, how to be able to move around and engage the crowd and do things like that. So I got an opportunity to do a sports show, well, to do the theme song on a sports show called Louisiana All-American Sports Show. And that happened around 2010 and 2011. And so I started out doing the theme song, and I came on, my homeboy, he was the host, he brought me on and we talked about, because we went to high school together and everything, and so we talked about that and me being Joker P, and the people loved it, and he was like, man, you got the voice for it and this and that, so would you mind coming back? And I started to come back. And that progressed until I started going to the games. Because I know I'm a sports guy, so I know a lot about sports. So I started to talk about sports. We started to do that. The show became, and then the program manager of the radio station came to me and started inquiring me about having, you know, a talk show / hip hop show. And I started kind of putting the idea together. At first I resisted it a little bit, because I knew it was going to take a little bit of work and everything. And so, but it finally came to fruition, and I started doing that. And that's what, you know, that's what helped me now, man, being able to talk to the young people and share my story with them. This is the first time I could be able to share my story with people, you know, not only you, but the people that's out there that may have not know the real story. We've seen a few little documentaries here and there, Diamond in the Dirt, different ones, and I always wanted to kind of put my spin on it, and you can hear from the horse's mouth right here, Joker P, you know. So that's what it is, you know.
What would you say the biggest difference is in, what would you say the biggest difference is in hip hop versus today versus when you came in?
It's a lot of differences. It's really a lot of differences. I would say.
Give me your biggest negative and your biggest positive.
Okay, I'll give you the biggest positive. The biggest positive is the internet, and the biggest positive is being able to go directly to consumer and being able to bypass having a label. You know, you could be like these SoundCloud rappers or whatever. You can become big and go viral off one song or off a cliche or off anything, and not have to have any talent. And that's where the downside comes, because sometimes when I was coming up, you had to be a real rapper. You know, you had other people that challenged you to be a real rapper. So you was able to have artist development and be able to have be developed when you go out. You'll be a little bit more polished. So that's kind of the negative, not being able to be polished, and you could become famous. And next thing you know, people want to put you on a tour, and you don't even know how to perform or don't know how to do nothing, and it can hurt your brand. Just give you an example. Just like a rapper like Trinidad James. You know what I mean? Gold all on my chain. You know, that's a beat that he got off the internet. Might have paid $20 for, made, and boom, next thing you know, it sold to me. And so now he's a whole character. He got to dress looking like Jerome or Martin or something. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't fit. You know, but but of course, it's more positive than it is negative, because now whether it's good news or bad news, if you go viral, you know how to use this internet, like Tekashi 6ix9ine or something like that. You know, see, he was a master marketer, but he went red. You feel what I'm saying? Soulja Boy is another one. He knows how to manipulate the internet and get the number, whether you think it's good or bad or whatever. But so that's the positive part of anybody that wants to make it, and they don't have to just be in being able to rap. You know, now it's more like having a swag. You know what I mean? And so
break that part down, because a lot of people think being able to put words together the best make you the best rapper.
No, that's not true. It's about having the way it is now is that's why Young Boy really to me is the epitome of that right now, because you talk about somebody that don't get any marketing or anything, but he's still #1 and everything because he has real hardcore fans that really love him. You know why? Because he's vulnerable in what he's saying. He's not always talking about having shit. He's talking about, you know, he'll say things negative about him or say something negative about his mom or anything like that. And a lot of young people can relate to that because they be wanting to say that, but they'll never say it out in the open. You know what I mean? About their mother, or you know, they always feel like they have to be a certain way because they're young and kids. You know what I'm saying? And he especially, you know, I ain't all right. I ain't got the smile. You know, and a lot of people, young people, appeal to that, and there's a realness to it. And so that's why he ain't the best. He may not be, to me, he's not better lyrically, let's say, than a Lil Baby. You know what I mean? Lil Baby seems to be getting better as he goes when I really look at his lyrics, and I've been following him from the beginning. You know, I follow all of them just like everybody else. You know,
right?
I'm a young person.
You hip?
Yeah, I'm hip to what's going on. I am hip hop. I'm on all that type of stuff. So battle rap on down. You know what I'm saying? I love battle rap, but Young Boy has an appeal though. It's just something about him and the realness with him. Lil Baby's good too, and Kodak Black, another one. You know what I'm saying?
Well, all three of them. I think it's the authenticness.
Exactly. You know, so that those are people that's not the best, don't have the best lyrics, let's say, than a Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole. But I'm gonna be playing them more than I'm gonna be playing them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which I love the beauty of what they do too. But you know what I mean? It's a